All right. So a lot of times what we'll talk to people about is they'll call in, they'll say, I have this issue, I have that issue. What do I need to take for that? So I wanted to kind of go through and kind of give the box of stuff that I think everybody should kind of hold around their house for, taking care of stuff. So one of the top ones we always go with is HCl. Like so, and you can find all this stuff on the Pillars of Wellness website if you're looking for the high quality stuff. We always start with HCl. Hydrochloric acid is really, really important. This is one of the big ones. Whenever someone's like, hey, I'm going on a vacation, what should I take with me? HCl is one of the big ones. We have seen all sorts of stomach, food poisoning, stomach issues, Montezuma's revenge, all that type of stuff. HCl will kill all that bacteria. So if you eat something and you're like, I don't know, my stomach's not happy with that. Like within the first, 15, 20 minutes of feeling it, take some HCl, it should knock it out. Now you might have to take a whole bunch like every couple hours if you've already ingested something you're throwing up and stuff like that, but it will kind of work those things out. So HCl is a great one. RFA is probably one of my favorite things for a whole variety of issues. So you've got yeast issues, RFA is great for that. You've got, it'll even help out with urinary tract infections. If you've got, all sorts of issues in the gut, it'll help kill parasites. It helps kill bacteria. So RFA is great. But probably one of my favorite ones that works real, really fast is if you've got, strep throat. One of the best things you can do for strep throat is use oregano oil. Oregano oil will kill the strep virus on contact. We've had people who've had strep throat so bad that they can't talk. Obviously they can't swallow. Horrible. It just feels terrible. And what we'll tell them to do is take 6-8 ounces of water and like a low ball glass and put a bunch of drops of oregano oil in there. Say 7 drops of oregano oil in there. And then if that's too spicy, you can always put limonene or some citrus oil on top of the little drops of oregano oil. And then gargle it and swallow it. Gargle it and swallow it until the container is empty. And, we've had people, like I said, who can't talk it so bad. By the end of the day, they're fine. You've got to do this multiple times throughout the day. But, if you've got strep throat to that point, you're probably staying home anyway. So, the oregano oil is fantastic. Now, if you've got little kids, and I know how terrible this sounds, but it's better than strep throat. If they can't deal with it because the oregano oil is spicy and it hurts on the strep throat, spray them down with chloraseptic. It'll numb the area, and then you can go ahead and knock that out. If you have access to them and you'd rather use the little lollipops they give people for like sore throat issues, what are they using that? It's a medication. Lidocaine. There's lidocaine lollipops. Those will help out, but chloraseptic will get the job done as well. So those are really, really important. Lysine. Okay. Any warts you get, any, colds, any flus, real colds and flus, not the man-made stuff like COVID, but, the natural stuff, it'll knock those things out real fast. We've had people who were fine on a Sunday, started feeling a little bit bad Sunday night, woke up Monday feeling like they were dead with the flu. We'll get them a hold of, lysine and D3 and, that type of stuff, and they will get a whole lot better within 48 hours. So lysine's really a good one. Lysine's an amino acid that your body uses to fight viruses. This will also work for herpes viruses. So on the mouth, genital herpes, the whole deal. You might have to take quite a bit, but take it. Like lysine's not very expensive. It'll knock it out. It is faster. We have seen like cold sores and herpes sores cured or remedied faster than with any medical drug we've ever put them up against. So high dose lysine is a great one for that. Let's see, what else do we see? A lot of gut issues and a lot of skin issues can be dealt with coffee enemas because we're feeding the liver. So if you guys don't have access to coffee enemas and kidney castor packs, you're missing out on probably the 2 biggest long-term health functions we've got. You clean the liver cleans out the blood cleans the lymph, the blood and the lymph clean the entire body. We talk about inflammation. Like, what do you think pulls the inflammation out of your whole body? It's your liver. So cleaning that liver out is super duper important. One of the things we see from Eastern medicine is anger, or when your temper gets shorter. We call that dirty liver or dirty man syndrome. Works for women too. And it's funny because I've had women come in They'll be like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm getting super angry, and it's just my temper's getting shorter. I've had people be like, I think it's the testosterone. I think testosterone's making me angry. And I'm like, have you done any coffee enemas? And they're like, well, I haven't done one in a while. I'm like, do this before you decide it's your testosterone. Do 2 coffee enemas this week and tell me how you feel. And I've had this happen a couple of times, and people come back to me after the first one. They're like, oh, it was definitely my liver. And I'm like, well, why do you say that? They're like, oh, so much more calm now. Like things happen, and I'm like, oh, okay. Like I can see where I get irritated, but I'm not. And I'm like, great. I'm like, do the other one. So that's, people ask me all the time, like, why do you do so many coffee enemas? Because I have to deal with human beings. Like the thing that irritates me the most is people are like, I'm not getting my success. And I'm like, are you doing your coffee enemas? No. Are you taking your supplements? No. Are you doing the diet? Not really. No wonder you're not getting where you want to go. So I got to deal with that. And so I do a lot of coffee enemas, so I can deal with all those things. But that's one of those big ones. Like coffee enemas are such a big deal. Kidney castor packs are another really big one. If you've got anxiety, if you have anxiety attacks or panic attacks, these are really important things to be able to do. If you've got kids, like, man, we castor pack our kids all the time. One of the things that we notice is that, and I'll probably do a whole thing on kids tomorrow. But if you're looking at the issues, like, they're moody, they're grouchy, they're talking back and stuff like that. Whenever my kids get like that, my oldest one does that more because he's more like me. We'll do a kidney castor pack on him, and the next day he's fine. He's back to being an awesome kid. So if you guys haven't started using kidney castor packs, these are really important options as well. Don't forget the water and the minerals. Like getting those minerals in will help a lot. We see people all the time who are sick, or they went outside and they worked out and now they don't feel good. They're nauseous, or they're extra fatigued, or, they're just whatever. They're low in minerals. So get their minerals up. They'll be good. What else we usually have people keep? Those are some of the basic ones that everyone should keep. The coffee enema access, kidney castor packs, HCl, RFA, oregano oil. These are big ones. If we can keep these in the house, we can Lysine, we can knock a lot of this stuff out. So keep those kind of in mind when you're trying to, put together, what do I have at the house that I'm going to need, for whatever. So like, oh, it's the weekend and, the kids are getting sick. Oh, well, I got to do X, Y, Z, or I don't feel great. Okay, we're going to do X, Y, Z. Those are some of the big ones. They're the more long-term stuff, where it's like, oh, I've got issues, and they're, X, Y, Z, depression or anxiety and stuff like that. We're talking about the omega-3 fatty acids. We're talking about the methylated B vitamins, things like that. Those are more for long-term stuff. So this stuff's more about what's going on right now. The other stuff that I like to keep around our house, we keep the wormwood, we keep the titanium, and we keep the quinine. Those are things that we have in excess, just in case. The wormwood we have here at the office has been one of my favorite things for all viral and bacterial stuff. This thing smokes so much stuff, and it tastes terrible. It is not tasty, but it's fantastic at killing parasites, at killing viruses and stuff like that. And the quinine is also really, really good at that. We started using the quinine back during COVID because that was I needed a vasodilator and antiviral, and quinine did an amazing job against COVID. Then you see people in hyperbaric chambers and things just get super great. But those are some of the ones that we've used the most. Those are the ones that I always tell people, like, keep all this stuff at your house. Because every once in a while someone will call up and tell us like, oh, I don't feel good. I'm like, all right, do a spot check, but if you've got to come up here and get stuff, you feel miserable. Or if you live somewhere, not close to here, like we have a lot of people all over the US and, and technically now all over the world that we work with. And it's always one of those deals where it's like, hey, can you come in and get this? So like, well, no. So we got to find something else. And, that's always difficult. So get this stuff and keep this stuff like ready. And then when a problem arises, then what you take, what you have, you can take that stuff to kind of knock that out. And you don't have to resort to things like antibiotics and stuff like that. So it's really kind of beneficial to keep a lot of this stuff on hand. But there's things that, people are like, what do I take when I'm sick? And I'm like, well, you can take these things. But the better option on that is just not get sick. Like I'm around this stuff every day. Like people come in here every single day with colds and flus and, COVID and whatever. And we do a really good job of not catching it because I do multiple coffee enemas a week. I'm taking all my supplementation. I work out. Like I make sure I get my sleep. Like if you maintain your health, you don't have to worry about illness nearly as much. And that counts for colds and flus. That counts for heart attacks and strokes. It counts for Alzheimer's and dementia. That counts for, chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia. Like it counts for all these things. So maintaining your health, like just, going through and checking all the boxes makes it really easy. And this is why, like in our programs, usually, most of them are like when you work directly with me, it's like 3 months where we work together. We help install all these habits. So you're just used to, keeping everything where it's supposed to be. And so you're just always healthy. And that's probably the best thing to do is just instead of like waiting till you get sick and then trying to figure out something to overcome the sickness, you just keep your body so healthy that, when all these things attack you, your body just beats them up and kills them, and it's easy. So, and that's what we talk about every day, right? That's the mental piece, which is gigantic. We start referring to as a shifting away from the stress paradigm into the joy paradigm. We're building the joy paradigm right now. So the guys who are working with us for the psych piece, the NLP piece or the Adler model, mental work stuff. We're working on building the joy paradigm. We've got enough people that as we've walked them through this type of stuff, they're starting to kind of move more directly into this, and it's been great. But get that mental piece where it's supposed to be, that positive function, and then move your body. Get get the things that we all know we need. Get the sunlight in, get the exercise in, get the water in, get the electrolytes in. Get your D3 in. Get your non-processed low glycemic foods in. Which is a low glycemic diet is the best diet for like 85% of the population. Like I said, there's not a diet for people because your ectomorphs who are trying to gain muscle mass, like they should not be running a low glycemic diet because they will never put on mass, a low glycemic diet. But for the rest of you, low glycemic diet, like you're going to be a lot healthier. If you just stripped all of the processing out, I don't care your glycemic function, strip all the processing out, you're going to be healthier 100% of the time, every single time. Less processing, less man's work, more God's work. You're going to get back where you want to be as far as being healthy. So keep those things in mind. Get that stuff. If you guys need another list, call the office. They'll help you make sure that you get everything you need. But at the same time, if you'll work, the reason I don't go over the how to fix this and how to fix that, the little things, the sore throats and the headaches and the joint pains and all these little things, is because if you're doing all the things you're needing to do to stay healthy, these things aren't really a problem. I mean, like a lot of the guys that we work with who get up on top of their health, they don't see these things anymore. They don't get colds anymore. They don't get flus anymore. They don't get, they don't get these things. So that's the biggest thing. That's the best way to stay healthy, is to just keep everything on top and just not get sick. But when you do, there's all sorts of things that we can do to knock them out. But, and if you're looking for those other things for your kids or for you, we can help direct you where you need to go. With the kids, we've got a couple of pediatricians that are amazing. These pediatricians don't force vaccines on people. They try to talk you out of doing vaccines because they give you the real information about what's really going on. But they let you make your own decisions. If you're like, hey, thanks for telling me all the things about vaccines, we still want to do the full schedule, they're cool with that. We always wonder why, but we're cool with that. But having said that, once people get the actual information, no one has ever chosen. I've talked to these guys a lot. I ask this question all the time. No one has chosen to do the vaccines once they understand the reality of what they are. But anyway, so these guys help a lot with these kiddos, elderberry and, all their different tinctures and stuff I just mentioned and stuff like that. That's really beneficial. Some of the homeopathics are amazing for these kiddos. Spongiatosta, for instance, if you have croup, dude, Spongiatosta is amazing. Like my oldest, when he was younger, used to get croup all the time. And we give him Spongiatosta, and it would go from, bad coughs to nothing in like 4 or 5 hours. It was unbelievable. So spongiatosis is fantastic. And I learned that from, Christy, from Christy Botter at Natural Choice Pediatrics and Dr. Bain at Healthy Kids. So those are the type of things, if you're looking for like that type of stuff, easily that type of stuff, those people are great to talk to, but we have access to those guys. We ask them, talk to them all the time. If you have stuff that you need specifically for you, get a hold of us. We'll make sure that you have all the stuff that you need to have for you. So anyway, if you guys have any other questions, hit us up, questions@chalmerswellness.com, or you can just keep doing the DM thing. We'll talk to you guys later. Have a fabulous day. Thanks for your time.